welcome to another Daily Digest. I am Ross Merriam, and today we've got a little bit of a throwback. Doing our best twin impression here with Kiki-Jiki, Mirror Breaker, and Bounding Crisis in the old classic Temur Twin, Todd Anderson's Love Child deck. And I'm sort of interested in this archetype because of the recent decline in lightning bolts around Modern, because the lightning bolt doesn't match up very well against the threats in the various Death Shadow decks. And lightning bolt is one of the best removal spells, obviously, against Bounding Crisis. You still have good creatures to hopefully match up against those decks' removal spells, even though you have to play bolts of your own as your primary removal here. Also, this deck has a reasonable amount of burn that I think with Snapcaster Mages, you're going to send those lightning bolts to the face against Death Shadow opponents a fair amount of the time. Our opponent has kept 7. Our hand is great. We'll be able to Serum Visions on 1 and Tarmogoyf on 2, and then hopefully find some lands and go from there. Certainly going to keep. Interesting decision as to what to do with my lands here. Ooh, our opponent is Tronning. Okay, Star is not as bad to see as something else. Normally I want to fetch before I vision, so I don't have to fetch later and mess up any scries. And I want to get blue sources now for Cryptic for sure for Chromatic Star. I think the matchup here, Endrong Remand, is maybe less wary of needing red mana early. So I think I'm just going to find Breeding Pool with this, and this Kiki-Jiki is going to be hard to cast. I'll say that. But c'est la vie. We'll certainly keep some red mana on top if we find it, but I might even have to hold up our mana on turn 2, which would be rough. It would be really nice to get the Goyf down first. Well, I kind of want both of these. I really didn't. If I could send back one, it would be the forest that I drew. Misty represents a red source, so we can cast Huntmaster if we want to do that. Second Remand is nice because it sort of forms a bridge from these remands to Cryptic Command. So I think I'm just going to keep both. I may still end up tapping out for Tarmogoyf on turn 2. We'll see how threatening of a play our opponent makes on their turn 2. If they don't play second Tron land, I'm for sure playing Goyf. I assume this will either play a Stirrings or a Sylvan Scrying. But the decision will be if they... Okay, ooh, Basic Plains. A little green-white Tron. Either way, I'm ecstatic that they don't have another Tron piece. So now I can pretty safely play Tarmogoyf here. And they even put an artifact in the graveyard. How helpful. They found Urza's Mine. Oh god, non-matching. Even on Magic Online, Tron players, you've already sacrificed a lot of your dignity and self-respect by playing Tron in the first place, but you should at least salvage what little you can by having Magic lands. This black border mixed with white border nonsense. Come on. The rest of your deck is all commons. Karn's kind of expensive, but that's it. Let's put a little effort in. Goes a long way. Get a Tarmogoyf down here. Now we start applying pressure while we cast all these counter spells, which is perfect. Our opponent will give us one more turn to set up. Maybe they'll have Path for this Goyf. That would be not the best, but what are you going to do? Sure. So Map will find them the third Tron piece, and then presumably we'll start countering a bunch of stuff. This Misty Rainforest is certainly going to find a Steam Vents, which we can get tapped. Represents a red source for our red cards, our third blue source for Cryptic Command. So we should be all set. Urza's Power Plant, you say? How surprising. That one's white bordered. Come on. Ew. Gonna let that resolve, but not happy about it. My Tarmogoyf is very small. So small. Please not another relic. Okay, well, Chromatic Sphere is fine. That's just going to put another artifact in the graveyard. Narglyph is... So, yeah, and then they put the sorcery back in, and I have the land. Just not a big deal. I could remand this, which is sort of an interesting play. I kind of want to get an instant in my graveyard. And I also want to just dig towards other things like Bounding Krasis, Snapcaster Mages. I think remaining here is the better play. Well, there's a lightning bolt. They're going to punish me? Okay, if that was Oblivion Stone... Okay. Well, I guess that still sort of punishes me, but Oblivion Stone really punishes me. Well. Okay, you get to play your Ancient Stirrings. See what they find. Okay, Karn, happy with that one. That is one we'll just get to remand into... Oh, my... No! They did have a second relic! Oh, come on. I'm just going to hold the land and play then. Interesting. Hinterland Harbor. We keep drawing all these green lands. But our deck punishing us for finding Breeding Pool on turn 1. But I assume my opponent is going to crack this relic. I guess they can... Yeah, they just want to... I am going to get an untapped land here. And I think I would rather hold up Cryptic than get an extra damage in here by bolting. In all likelihood, I'm going to bolt and remand here, but I don't think the 1 damage is relevant enough. I think the small likelihood where my opponent plays something I really want to Cryptic is more important. It's even possible I want a Cryptic first just to get another type in the graveyard. I could counter this Karn. If my opponent has... Because if they have like Ulamog, I'd really need to Cryptic that as opposed to remand it. So I think I can just get away with remanding at this point. Ugh. Really getting punished for not finding a red source there. I just didn't really think casting Kiki-Jiki was going to come too much into play. Just going to fire off this bolt while I can. Okay, well that's a red source. Maybe we can end this game by... you're pathing us, and we just drew the basic mountain. I think we've drawn all of our basics. Ugh, well this is bad now. Might have a second basic... Oh, I have a million basic islands. My bad. But I really wanted to find basic mountain. Man. Now I kind of wish I hadn't remanded that Ancient Stirrings. Okay. Let's counter and draw a card. Where are you? There we go. The usual modes. Wait. Let's do this again. Blue. 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 We did it. Opponent still has 5 cards in hand though. Okay, well Bounding Krasis was definitely a good draw. Another Stirrings here would appear. Sylvan Scrying, eh? Okay, fine. Sanctum of Ugin. We can play both Bounding Crisis and Huntmaster here, and then hope to draw a red source for this Kiki-Jiki. So I certainly think that's the play. Not sure if we're about to get Ulamogged. Crisis only taps creatures, so we can't tap a tower on their upkeep like you could with Deceiver Exarch. Sort of hoping if my opponent does play Ulamog that they just deal with my creatures, and I can tap it with Crisis and just hope to draw a mountain. They could also play Ulamog here and -4 it, and we'd be able to kill it with Crisis, which would be nice. Or my opponent could just have nothing. Playing Expedition Map is definitely not an indication of strength, nor is playing a second one. Sure, so now they have Sanctum in hand, and what I can only assume is going to be, yeah, another tower. Just want more mana. So they have 2 lands in hand. Well, still have 2 lands in hand. And let's play Bounding Crisis, shall we? I'm going to tap my wolf token. That'll show him. Or I can just say no. Snapcaster is excellent. Even probably the second best draw to a red source, and might even be better if my opponent's last card is a Path to Exile. So we can just attack with all our things, and our opponent does have a path, so Snapcaster is a great draw. Now our unfortunately our Huntmaster will not flip, but I don't think that's a big deal. Let's get another basic. Our opponent's at 9, and we can bolt Snapcast Bolt, which represents 8 damage. So, but if our opponent doesn't cast a spell next turn, then they're just dead. Oh no, they're going to 9 here, so we just have them dead anyway. Yeah, very dead. Even with these 2 dead Kiki-Jikis. Our opponent drawing a bunch of lands certainly help. So they have Tower, Power Plant, Sanctum, X. Well, they drew a spell. And that would be a good one if I did not have Cryptic Command. Yeah, I just attacked for 6 and bolt them, so let's play Cryptic. And that'll end the game. Gonna have to watch out a lot for those relics in the post-board game. Counterspell, draw a card. And I'll show them the bolt. Even have Kiki-Jiki to copy like a wolf token. Fortunately, if I had to copy Snapcaster, I can't flash back another bolt. But either way, irrelevant. And what do we have here? Is it a Blood Moon? I believe it is. I like Negate as well. I like Vendilion Click. Flash threats are definitely going to be really nice. I like this Pithing Needle. Good against Oblivion, Stone, and Karn, and Ugin. Could bring in Dispel for Path, but that seems too narrow. Sower takes Wormcoil, which is a nice. Not sure if it's good enough. I could have enough things to bring out. I'm definitely bringing out Roast. Definitely bringing out Dismember. And I'm definitely bringing out Electrolyzes. I kind of like leaving in some number of bolts. Not sure how good Spell Snare is. I think it really only counters Sylvan Scrying. So I think I'm actually going to cut Spell Snare as well. In which case I could bring in some number of Grudges and Sowers. Grudge, my guess is Grudge is better. Sower could be better than Huntmaster, but Huntmaster just applies so much more pressure. I like Bolt because Snap Bolt just represents so much damage, and we're so good at getting some chip shot in. That's what this deck is really well known for. You deal 2 here, 3 there, 2 there, and before your opponent knew it, they were just dead to Bolt, Snap Bolt. Granted, fetches and shocks go a long way towards making that happen, and the Tron deck does not have either of those, so it's possible I want to trim on bolts too, but unless I'm leaving Spell Snare in, I think I like the way this looks. And hopefully we'll just make quick work with a Blood Moon and a fast combo or something like that. Well, with this hand, Blood Moon is not going to be very good. And we don't have any disruption. We're basically bolting them, playing a Snapcaster on 2, snapping back the bolt on 3, bringing them to 12, and then attack them to 8 and play a Huntmaster on turn 4. So it's just a turn 5 kill with no disruption if we draw a land. And that's just not going to be good enough even against a mulligan to 6. Yeah, this hand also just not gonna get there. It needs to draw too much. And probably the best hand we've seen. I will keep. Pithing Needle is an interesting one. I could name Expedition Map or Chromatic Star should my opponent play one of those on turn 1, or just name Karn. I think I'm gonna keep it on top. I could just try to dig for more combo pieces or something like that, but no, I think I just want to have it. Not sure what our opponent did. They scryed to the top after a multi-6, and we see an Expedition Map there, so we will get paid off. Hopefully our opponent has many more of them. Pithing Needle. What you got? Do I have to scroll all the way down? Okay. No, I probably should have stayed there. No, here we go. We're at EXT, EXPL, EXPN, Expedition Map. The alphabet is hard. And they did not play a Tron piece on turn 1, so they're going to be a ways away from Troning. Maybe not with Stirrings in mind, but yeah, they found a power plant. Probably a hideous white border power plant. Well, I am just going to play this tapped. I guess I should have played a fetch and bluffed a remand. I'm just trying to save my fetches as much as I can in case I draw Blood Moon. Ugh. Well. So they're one piece away, and we just have a bunch of 3/3s. Yep, see what happens with this. I'm going to get a Steam Vents with this Misty, so I can potentially get a third Red Swords with this other one if I need to. But I'm also going to want to leave this Misty uncracked, so if I draw Blood Moon, I can get a Forest with it. And then I'll have blue and green mana under my moon. So let's get a Steam Vents and cast our thing. I know we're sort of casting it into the stone, but our opponent missed a land drop, so they actually are a bit of a ways away from blowing it up, and I want to apply some pressure. We are now Ready to rip Kiki-Jiki. Or not. Now I guess I can just get basic forest. I don't want to get a basic mountain. I'll just get the forest. Little do they know we have many more bounding Crasises to go. Bounding Crasis number 2. And I think I'll just crack this fetch and get another tap to Steam Vents here. This can find a basic island, and I'm sure I can't Cryptic Command out or Blood Moon then, but I'm not super concerned about that. Remand is a fine draw. Good chance my opponent is... Oh man, oh, I was gonna say that the O-Stone isn't great because their map will die with the needle, but now they get to put a fate counter on their expedition map, and the O-Stone will now only blow up my things. That's cute. Oh, well, they put it on Razor Ridge Thicket for some reason. Not exactly sure why they did that. I can remand this Sylvan Scrying, or I can remand whatever they cast with it. Either way, I'm going to fire off the remand. If I hit Blood Moon, then it's best for me to have remanded the Scrying itself. So that is what I'll do. They could also potentially just play third Tron land and pass with the Oblivion Stone mana up, and that would prevent me from comboing. So I'm just going to keep cracking fetches. Now I'm going to get Basic Island in case I want to get a third for Cryptic under Blood Moon. My mana is perfect anyway. And Blood Moon, you say? Ta-da! Let's mush for 3 and show our opponent the bad news. There is a bit of an issue with the Oblivion Stone on the battlefield. If they draw a land, they can blow it up. But they don't have that land right now. And they do have a way to find Tron. So I think I have to just run it out there to buy myself some time. I can... So I can then just sort of go all in and play the second Bounding Crisis on my opponent's end step, get them to 8. Maybe try to bolt them out. If I draw like a Cryptic or a Grudge, that's great against this Oblivion Stone. But if I wait, they're just going to cast Sylvan Scrying next turn, play third Tron piece. They can just then pass the turn, have no fear of getting comboed. On my next end step, sacrifice the map with 7 mana, have 5 floating. Then sack Oblivion Stone, blow up everything I have, untap, and then play a giant threat, and then my Blood Moon really just doesn't do much. So I think this is my best option. So let's get another Basic Island. And let's play Blood Moon. And hope they don't find a land. Well, they found a land. It's not good, not good. Oh, man! We just needed them to miss once. Although we do have the combo in our hand if our opponent taps out for something big. But if that something is a Karn, then they're either going to plus or Maybe they're going to plus or take one of our red sources, which means finding the basic island was maybe not the best. Man. They do have to tap for scrying here. They'll still have 9 mana, 8 or 9 mana after it, because they drew another Tron piece. Yeah, they could still have 8 mana after regardless, so they can Ugin. If they Ugin, that would be perfect. I'm sort of imagining them having Karn and Path here, but I'm a bit of a pessimist. They are thinking, so they have options. Yep, Sylvan Scrying resolves. Finds a tower. Yeah. Probably getting plussed here. We've already gone through 3 Crasises, so we only have 1 left anyway, and the 1 Kiki-Jiki. So I think our best bet here is hope they don't have Path and rip to 1 outer. Again, cracking that fetch was weak here. We would have beaten them if they didn't have Path. We just leave the fetch in hand, exile it if they plus, and then if they eat one of our red sources, we can fetch for another one. Just needed a 1 turn to not draw land there. Okay, well they're playing a map, so we have hope. That does not really count. Not good. We will soldier on valiantly, but I don't see us winning this game unless our opponent really has nothing. Yeah, exile our thing. Oh man. Yeah, I can just get to plus. Now we have to deal with a Karn on 10. Maybe a Cryptic Command won't do it. Oh, Jesus. They have Rest in Peace in their sideboard. That's going to be good. Shuts down Snapcaster Mage and Tarmogoyf. So, I got a Tarmogoyf. It's not very good. I assume this will find Sanctum of Ugin. Yep. And, yeah. Maybe our opponent will try to get cheeky and restart the game with Karn. Oh, they exiled their own Razorverge Thicket from their hand. Cute. Cute, cute, cute. Yeah, now they can just sit here and exile good cards from their hand if they really want to do that. But it would take a lot for us to win this game. And if this is a big spell, that will probably do it. Yeah, I guess I'll let them resolve their triggers. Maybe they'll show me something with the Sanctum, but the Ulamog will be enough. No mas. No mas. What could I have done differently in that game? I guess if I just keep holding the remand, let the green card. No, he's gonna play a Karn. I'm gonna be forced to fire it off, and then I'm gonna be playing the Moon when they have 5 lands. I actually think I gave myself the best shot of winning. They found World Breaker. Okay, that's good to know. So, with Rest in Peace in their sideboard, we really don't have other threats we can bring in place of these Goyfs and Snapcaster Mages. So, when we brought in our Vendilion Click, I guess we could bring in Sower and potentially Sower and Ulamog, but that seems like an unlikely scenario. But maybe the potential of it is enough to want to play them over Huntmasters. It does seem really sweet if I get it to happen, and so I'm just gonna play towards having the sweet thing happen. We'll try to Sower some Ulamogs in game 3. I would like to play first, and man, these hands, just can't keep it. It just mucks around, not doing anything. This hand's fine actually. We got some threats. We have some counter spells. We have some lands. It's better than fine. I don't really want to bolt, so I'll put that on the bottom. And now I can. There's no way I can really save the life here. I guess if I just play Sulphur Falls first, then I can. If I draw a different land, I can play that. If I draw a Breeding Pool. But I'd rather draw a land than a bolt, so. Okay, another Crisis isn't great. I'm going to get Tarmogoyf into play here and hope they don't have Rest in Peace. That means Breeding Pool. I definitely want to draw a land next turn so I can hold up Remand plus Fish Lizard. Assume, yeah, green. And, okay, well, this Sylvan, yeah, Sylvan's Scrying. No turn 3 Tron, so that's good. And they found a Power Plant. Crappy white bordered one. No land is rough, but we will keep going. If we can draw some lands, I think we'll be okay. The question is whether I remand something here. I will definitely remand another Sylvan Scrying. Do I remand an Ancient? Yep. Definitely remanding this. Okay, good. That's a land. Now we can... Okay, well, we're going to have to... Okay. Finding another remand is also good. We can mash for 4, hold up Crisis, remand, and I think we're in okay shape. Just need to find a 4th land in the next 2 to 3 draws, depending upon how fast our opponent is and whether or not we cast this remand. Okay. And we do have a reasonable clock here. This scrying I will let resolve because I want to get Crisis down. I guess there's a good chance we're facing a path here. But that's not too big a deal. Oh, I didn't realize that they... Oh, man. I didn't realize they hadn't made a land drop. Oh, that was sloppy on my part. I think I have to remand this then. Yeah, should have remanded again. Well, we did find a land, so that's great. Let's just keep attacking for 4, and hopefully these Cryptics take it home. Now, this is the point where I want to find a bolt. Because we're 1 short of killing them in 2 attacks. We have those 2 attacks covered from Cryptic. This is a bit of an awkward situation now that I've found myself in, because I might have to just hold up. If I counter this and my opponent has another land, and if I counter this and my opponent has another land, then they can play a card, which would not be good. If I let it resolve, though, if I let this resolve, then I can't play Crisis on end step. My opponent likely just So they just sack the Oblivion Stone when I attack. I have to pass, even if I draw land. And then I'm forced into this Cryptic your spell every turn and really not getting any pressure in. But I might be able to run my opponent out of threats or find a Snapcaster, things like that. Then again, I could lose a bunch of lands to Ulamog. This is a tough spot. I think it's a spot I would have found myself in regardless, unless my opponent has only one land and they drew it this turn. Because if I remand to the Sylvan Scrying last turn, they can play whatever lands in their hand, scry for this mine. I guess if it's another, yeah, because they'd used green off Star, so they had an extra green from Thicket regardless of what the land was. So even if it's like a Ghost Quarter or a Sanctum of Ugin, they would have had to literally draw it this turn. Very tough spot. If my opponent plays a Karn and minuses on my Goyf, if I had the Bolt, I'd be pretty happy countering this. As it is, their thing goes to 3, they untap, they plus it to 7, and I start having to play, probably continue answering threats with Cryptic, so I can't really get a threat down. But with them having 7 cards in hand, I don't think I'm going to be able to run them out of threats. So I'm sort of screwed either way. Yeah, really not sure what to do here. I think I want to counter this. At least if I draw some cards with Cryptics, I can find potentially answers to things, like if I just find a Bolt in a couple draws. Yeah, Relic's good too, but I don't think I could do much about that one. This is getting awkward. All these crises that I never found a time to get onto the battlefield. But interesting, my opponent doesn't have more lands. I guess so they're going to find them now with map. Yeah, so I got max punished for not remaining the scrying, because they wouldn't have been able to cast it. I would have easily won this game, I think, because I would have gotten a crisis down, maybe 2. Do I take a risk and play a Goyf after my opponent pops this Relic? Interesting that they didn't pop the map first. I don't think I can do that. I think I have to Cryptic here. I think ultimately I have to Cryptic as long as I can, get the attacks in with the Goyf that I can, hopefully find like Bolts and Snapcasters, and then maybe on the last turn unleash some Crises on end step after my opponent finally resolves something, and those will finish them off. That is a Sanctum of Ugin. That'll bring my opponent to 9 mana, which is notably short of casting Ulamog, which is something else that I have to watch out for. But 1 land off of this. Oh no, they drew a tower. Oh, if you had the Ulamog, why didn't you just search for tower? This is rough. I'm definitely countering it, but losing those lands and losing our Goyf is really big. Yep. Stirrings here. All but guarantees. Okay, another star. That's fine. Now we have to get some mediocre beats in. We do now have 3 red sources again, so if we draw Kiki-Jiki, we can potentially combo them. But let's get another Goyf down and hope for the best. With 6 cards in our Tron opponent's hand, one of which is Sanctum of Ugin, I guess. I would have been pretty happy had I been able to cryptic some other spell, and then my opponent played Ulamog as their last thing, exiling Goyf, because then I would have gotten to play 2 Crasises, tap down the Ulamog, and get in for likely lethal. Well, I don't know if that's a good sign or not a good sign. I'm not going to run a Crisis into it, of course. I think my opponent might be a little scared of the combo, but by running the... I guess if they have a path in hand, this is pretty good. But I'm just going to attack. Yeah, this looks like a path. I know, just crack the O-Stone. That's fine by me. They might just not have another threat, which would make it all the more odd that they searched for Sanctum when they needed to cast an Ulamog. They can legitimately slow play it, but if they're going to slow play it, then don't play the tower and Ulamog the next turn. Wait a turn. So, some awkward play from our opponent. But yeah, there's a good chance they just don't have anything. Is this another stone? They just have a million of them? Well, they have a Karn, which is bad news bears. I think what I'm going to do is just slam 2 Crasises into play, and they're finding a World Breaker. That's fine. Either hope to draw, and definitely exiling this Stomping Ground. Expedition map is perfectly fine. Either hope to draw a Kiki-Jiki here, or a Lightning Bolt, and hope my opponent doesn't have path. We do have another Crisis to stop World Breaker, so that is also nice. We'll find another Steam Vents to get a red source. And our Fish Lizards can finally come out to play. Tarmogoyf is not really what I envisioned, but it might be good enough. No, not on attack. Nothing at Karn. Everything at you. Oh, they go to 3. Let's play another thing. You can go. And now they have Karn to deal with 1. Oh man. Why do they have Nature's Claim in their deck? Oh, to deal with Blood Moon. Okay. Oh, God, that... I think that's still fine. If all they have is World Breaker... I guess if they can... Yeah, well... I'm gonna play my thing if you're not gonna exile one of my things. And if all they have is World Breaker, then sure. Then we have them. But another Oblivion Stone, and that'll just about... man! Come on. Well, Snapcaster is actually pretty good. Now we can Cryptic the World Breaker and at least stop it for a turn. Man. And the fight goes on. Nature's Claim, my own expedition map. Well, I'm certainly not going to let another Karn resolve, so now they still have the World Breaker in hand, but it's better to counter Karn than World Breaker anyway. Counter target spell and draw a card. And maybe we can find some more action here. Remand is not bad. Oh, they have enough mana to just cast both. Ugh, Thragtusk. Ugh. Our burn them out plan is not... Yeah, I didn't even count their mana. They have all these towers. Well, yeah, it's not looking good anymore. We're already at 11. I dealt myself 9 points of damage. All this life gain. I will take 5. I assume this will exile Breeding Pool. Yeah, it's going to get to the point where we'll run us out of green sources pretty soon. I should have left Cryptic Mana up, but it's, I guess, neither here nor there. It's actually pretty cool. I guess we need a land to make it work. Yeah, we're 1 land short of flashing back Remand with Snapcaster, so that's awkward. So what can I can attack for 2 and block the Tusk, or I can attack for 4. The second Kiki-Jiki was not a great draw. If I had found a Bolt at some point in this game, we might have been in somewhere. Man, all this life gain. It's tough. If we just attack for 2, I guess at this point I'm not going to even have a green source to play a Bounding Crisis. Kind of wish I had Seabar Exarch, but I guess I have to make a play quickly. I think I'm going to be best served by just trying to block a little bit. Potentially can draw green source into Crisis, so let's attack for 2. And hope for the best. Yeah, I think I would have won this game had I remanded. Just didn't notice that they hadn't played a land, didn't register. Oh, another Karn. Interesting. Well, let's oh, they just get to play both. Yeah. They just have so much mana. Don't think I can beat that. You know, this takes away the green source. Now, even if I draw a land, they'll be able to use their Karn to just kill my Kiki-Jiki. Maybe I can, if I draw a Bolt. Okay, I think I have to draw a Lightning Bolt. Ooh, I guess that's not actually very good. But can it let me live to an extent? How good is a Lightning Bolt? I guess, so I sow or something, my opponent Karns it, they get their thing back, they attack for 5, I'll go to 1, then I'll untap, and I can bolt the Thragtusk on their turn and chump block. That doesn't seem good enough. I can then Kiki block and then try to find green. I'm not going to be able to find... I'll need to find green source plus thing. So let's bottom and sower. And I'm just timing out here. I spent too much time talking. Even if I combo them, they'll just make me go through it. So I don't think I'm going to get there. I am usually about 5 minutes behind my opponent in long matches. But if my opponent didn't find the other Karn, this sower might have been able to take it. Yeah, go to 1. And that'll do it. That will definitely do it. Yeah, was at a point where I had the line to pressure their mana long enough to win the game and missed it. And when you don't do that and they get up to 7 mana and have a stream of threats, then it was just too tough. If they didn't have the third Oak Stone or didn't have that Karn there, maybe I can get back into it, but they're going to have a stream of threats when they're light on land, so should have taken my advantage when I had it. Failed to do so, and lost as a result. Classic Magic. The Tron player unfortunately got a victory. No one wants to see that, so I'm sorry. Sorry to everyone for that, but you can't get them all. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed it, and you can come back and see me on Friday. Yeah, I think the next one's on a Friday. Bye.